Buenos días, soy Ana.
Hola, buenos días con todos.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Muy buenos días.
Buenos días.
Muy buenos días.
Hola, hola, bienvenidos.
Gracias.
Wow, so many people, such a big family, a big global family. Let us know where you are from, where you are today, in the language of your choice. Toledo. Carolina. Oh, excelente. Hola, Chile. Ecuador, en la
Hola.
casa.
Hola, Margarita Guarín de INILAT, que también nos acompaña hoy. Eh, Vamos a dar inicio a este webinar agradeciendo a Eva, a Stephanie, a Anne de la Universidad de Minnesota por habernos aceptado acompañar en este espacio que es una reunión en la cual tenemos presentes distintas redes. Tenemos 26 países que se han registrado, 700 personas registradas y desde Ecuador, desde la Red Ecuatoriana para la Internacionalización de la Educación Superior, la Reyes, además de la OUI, tenemos a la iniciativa latinoamericana para la internacionalización de la educación superior, ahí tenemos Margarita Huerín que la representa, y tenemos a miembros de FAUBAI en Brasil, RCI y ASCUN en Colombia, de AMPEI en México, Learn Chile, Ready Perú y ASCUN en Argentina, que forman parte de INILAT y nos acompañan el día de hoy. Para iniciar este webinar, tenemos al rector de la Universidad Católica de Santiago de Guayaquil, el doctor Walter Mera, quien nos va a dar la bienvenida a este espacio. ¿Qué no tiene? ¿Qué pasó con el micrófono? El micrófono. Ah, que ya entendí, ya entendí. Ahora sí, ahí. Me decía que yo,
Ok, ahora sí,
así.
no me habilitaban el micrófono. Bueno, muy buenos días, muy buenas tardes con todos ustedes, ¿no? Estimados miembros de la comunidad educativa global, reciban ustedes un cordial saludo desde la Universidad Católica de Santiago de Guayaquil, en Ecuador. Somos una institución convencida de las bondades que aporta el trabajo en red a la creación de conocimientos y nuevos aprendizajes. Somos la sede de la Red Ecuatoriana para la Internacionalización de la Educación Superior, Reyes, y ejercemos la vicepresidencia regional de los países andinos de la Organización Universitaria Interamericana, OUI, desde el año pasado. Nos integramos activamente a la Iniciativa Latinoamericana para la Internacionalización de la Educación Superior, INIL-AT. Esta coyuntura nos facilita realizar conexiones comprometidas con el fomento, de un espíritu de la comunidad global y tejer relaciones para constituir un espacio abierto, diversificado, en el que es posible ir sumando nuevas iniciativas, propuestas y empeños para enfrentar los desafíos del mundo actual. Es un verdadero placer darles la bienvenida a este encuentro en el que se han inscrito 500 y más, casi 600 miembros de instituciones educativas de alrededor del planeta. Su presencia aquí hoy es un motivo de celebración y una clara manifestación de que la colaboración en red refuerza y enriquece las oportunidades de aprendizaje global para todos con nuestras comunidades educativas. Espero que este webinar que nos ofrecen desde la Universidad de Minnesota, las mundialmente reconocidas expertas Eva Hart y Stephanie Dutcher y Anne Smith, sea un espacio que nos motive a inspirarnos mutuamente para el fortalecimiento de una educación inclusiva y de calidad. Les deseo una fructífera jornada, un encuentro y una experiencia enriquecedora. Sean todos bienvenidos. Welcome a la Universidad Católica de Santiago de Guayaquil.
Muchísimas gracias, doctor Mera, por esa bienvenida y damos entonces por iniciado este evento cediéndole la palabra a nuestras expositoras del día de hoy.
Muy bien, muchísimas gracias, doctor Mera y Verónica, por esas palabras de bienvenida. Tengo hasta mariposas en la barriga, como decimos aquí en Holanda, por ver tanta gente emocionada por conocer más sobre este tema. Muchísimas gracias a todos por estar aquí. Pues ya mencionamos las tres ponentes, somos Stephanie Dosher y Ann Smith de University of Minnesota y Eva Haug. Yo soy Eva Haug y estoy aquí desde la Universidad de Ciencias Aplicadas en Ámsterdam y también colaboro con la Universidad de Minnesota en este contexto. Un placer estar aquí con vosotros para hablar de cultivar las competencias globales y las interacciones culturales a través del currículo. Vamos a la siguiente, por favor, Stephanie. Antes que nada, queríamos reconocer un momento el idioma que vamos a, o los idiomas que vamos a usar, nuestros idiomas. Entonces, antes de iniciar nuestras actividades, queremos compartir con ustedes que aunque el idioma utilizado para esta sesión será el inglés, pero también el español, reconocemos y promovemos la diversidad lingüística. Reconocemos el esfuerzo que implica comunicarse en un idioma extranjero, como por ejemplo para mí, que ninguno de los dos es mi idioma materno, y nos gustaría animar todos los participantes a hablar desde el corazón y sentirse libres para incluir palabras y expresiones de su lengua materna para enriquecer las ideas. No olvidemos que lo que decimos es mucho más importante que cómo lo decimos o los acentos con los que lo decimos. Muchas gracias. Entonces, también quería hablaros un poco de qué vamos a hacer hoy. Stephanie, ¿podemos ir a la siguiente? Muchas gracias. Cuando hablamos en inglés, hay varias cosas que podemos ofrecer. Vi un botón de traducción, entonces quizás está activado la función de traducción. También se puede usar subtítulo cerrado para poder leer y escuchar al mismo tiempo o usar una herramienta como por ejemplo Microsoft Translate en su teléfono para traducir lo que estamos diciendo. Si el idioma es un poco desafío. Vamos a yo voy a intentar hablar español todo el tiempo, pero mis compañeras Anne y Stephanie van a hablar lo más despacio posible y claramente para que todo el mundo pueda sentirse incluido. Entonces, ¿De qué vamos a hablar en esa sesión? Primero vamos a hablar del por qué es importante este tema, por qué nos debería importar. Y después entramos un poco en el qué es exactamente. Es la parte más excitante. Después vamos a ver cómo podemos empezar a jugar con esa materia. Y finalmente vamos a cerrar con los siguientes pasos. ¿Y ahora qué? Para motivaros a poneros en acción y continuar con el tema. Muchas gracias. Y paso la palabra a Stephanie. Stephanie, adelante.
Gracias. It is such a pleasure to be here with you today and an honor to share some thoughts about why we are here. I will not presume to assume why you are here, but I would like to share why we are here. We speak of global competencies today, and there are many different ways to interpret those words. One way may be in the perspective of work, the world of work. We may seek in our institutions to prepare our students to work any type of job, any type of career, anywhere in the world. Or perhaps it is an international or global company or organization that is working in our own community. And we may want to empower our students with the skills that are needed to work in these contexts. This is just one list of competencies offered by the World Economic Forum. They have done research asking employers all around the world, what are the competencies that students need to acquire to be successful as employees, as workers? But many of us are also here because we think of global competencies in another way. We think of global competencies in terms of global citizenship. We're asking ourselves, what is the knowledge? What are the skills? What are the attitudes or perspectives that our students need to have as citizens of our local and global communities, as inhabitants of our planet Earth? And we're thinking about how to help our students understand their positionality and have perspectives within the context of living on the planet Earth, which is an incredibly diverse, complex, and interconnected phenomenon at multiple levels of scale. We encounter diversity, complexity, and interrelatedness within ourselves, within our families and our friendship relationships, within our school, our classrooms, our communities, within our country, our regions, and the world. How do we equip our students with the knowledge, the skills to position themselves and position their perspectives within these dynamics? We know that as citizens and as workers, our students are challenged to understand and solve problems that are too big, too complex, and have too many diverse causes and impacts to understand or solve by themselves. Either as citizens or workers, they need the competencies to connect their different knowledge, skills, and perspectives. Each of these challenges that we encounter are encapsulated in the Sustainable Development Goals, and many of us are brought to this space today because we are thinking, what are the competencies our students need to create a world of greater well-being for all? We know that each of these problems are like an elephant. They are the elephant in the room. And whether we're speaking of the scale of the classroom or the community or the world, we know that each of us only possess a piece, a tiny piece of the puzzle of understanding and solution making. And so the only way to solve these problems, to understand these challenges, the only way to develop these global competencies is through connection, is through interaction. But interaction doesn't just happen because we find ourselves in a group of diverse people. Interaction doesn't happen because our professors have fabulous lectures and exciting projects. You'll hear us say this many times. Interaction and global competencies don't happen by default, they happen by design. So we are here today to talk about this. How do we design interactions amongst our diverse students? And there is diversity present in every classroom, in every community, in every one of us. How do we create experiences from the minute we meet each other all the way through the projects that we design and how we ask our students to reflect, that guide our students to connect their diverse ideas and perspectives to create new knowledge about themselves, about others, and about the world around them. We must add some blue to the red to make purple. This is work that we don't do because it's nice to do. We do this work because we have to do. We are educators, and the mission of higher education is to exchange and produce new knowledge. And we want a special type of knowledge, these global competencies. So that is what we're here to talk about. How can we design these experiences? I want to now hand it back over to Eva, yes, to talk about what are we talking about here?
Sí, ¿de qué estamos hablando? Muchas gracias, Stephanie, por contextualizar, y animarnos a pensar en el por qué lo estamos haciendo. Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Y aquí vamos a ver un dibujo de dos personas que están viendo la misma cosa, pero desde diferentes perspectivas. Ambos tienen razón, pero no se van a poner de acuerdo porque lo están viendo de diferentes formas. La persona a la izquierda ve un número 6, la persona a la derecha ve un 9 y ambos están convencidos. Bueno, y esto lo podemos ver como un problema o como una oportunidad, ¿verdad? Entonces vamos a la siguiente diapositiva, por favor, porque lo que estamos hablando realmente son de las oportunidades que nos ofrecen la interacción y el intercambio intercultural. Entonces, ¿qué es una interacción cultural? Refiere al comportamiento, incluyendo pero no limitado por la comunicación verbal y no verbal, que ocurre cuando miembros de diferentes grupos culturales interactúan en actividades conjuntas, o sea, cuando tienen que colaborar y solucionar problemas juntos. Y mientras lo hacen, intercambian experiencias vividas, conocimientos y valores. ¿Por qué? Para llegar a una apreciación de la diversidad de perspectivas. para llegar al número 3, al que se refería antes Stephanie. ¿Y cómo aprendemos entonces a manejar esas diferencias? A que los estudiantes vean las oportunidades, ¿no? Entonces, como dijo también, no pasa simplemente porque creamos una oportunidad, pasa porque diseñamos interacciones en que hace falta intercambiar esas perspectivas. Entonces, que los estudiantes, que los profesores, pero también los estudiantes aprendan o vean la diferencia entre ver diferencias como una oportunidad o una amenaza, como estamos viendo en muchas partes del mundo, desafortunadamente. Si queremos tener la razón o si queremos ver las cosas desde perspectivas diferentes. Vamos a la siguiente, por favor, Stephanie. Que quería comparar, o sea, usar como una metáfora de cómo podemos empezar a ver más nuance, más diferencias. Y todos aprendemos de diferentes formas, pero quería daros el ejemplo de vino. Cuando somos pequeñitos y aún no podemos tomar alcohol, y vemos a nuestros papás tomando vino, quizás solamente lo único que sabemos de vino es que viene en 3 colores: el blanco, el tinto y el rosado, ¿no? Pero cuando ya somos adultos y de edad para tomar, vamos a la siguiente, Stephanie, ya podemos ver más nuances, más diversidad y vemos que hay, o sabemos que hay vino de varias regiones que vienen diferentes precios, que los vinos que nos gustan, si preferimos el tinto, preferimos el vino blanco, en qué ocasiones, por ejemplo, lo tomamos. Pero imagínate que ya sabiendo bastante de las diferencias y la variedad de vinos, imagínate que hacemos un curso para realmente entrar en el tema. Vamos a dar eso. Y de repente sabemos no solamente que hay diferentes vinos y qué vino nos gusta, pero podemos destacar diferentes matices en el sabor de ciertos vinos. Sabemos de dónde están las viñas y cómo influye el clima y la tierra en la producción y por qué nos gustan o de dónde vienen esos sabores. Entonces, el conocimiento de vino puede intensificarse y puede hacerse, y podemos ser mucho más conscientes de las diferencias de vinos, por ejemplo, que hay. Pues imagínate esto, pero en nuestra práctica, vamos a la siguiente, en nuestra práctica de profesores, ¿no? En nuestra práctica manejando o invitando a intercambios y interacciones globales o interculturales para nuestros estudiantes. Aprender no ocurre en aislamiento, no aprendemos solamente leyendo libros, escuchando al profesor. Muchas cosas aprendemos porque estamos con otros, porque interactuamos con otros. Piensa, por ejemplo, en cómo aprendiste a enseñar. Seguramente tuviste varias experiencias, quizás primero como estudiante. Hubo profesores que te gustaron mucho y otros que quizás su estilo no te gustó tanto. Luego estudiaste y después practicaste en diferentes escuelas y así vas aprendiendo y ves cada vez más matices, más diversidad en tu aula y en el mundo. Esta imagen, a propósito, la escogí también porque este deporte es muy popular en Holanda, pero lo que me gusta es que los que están remando están con su espalda hacia el futuro, pero remando hacia, o sea, están mirando para atrás, reflexionando desde dónde vienen, pero yendo al futuro, con la dirección de una persona que les dice si van bien. Con esto quiero dejar la palabra a Anne, que nos va a introducir el tema de cómo. Anne, por favor.
Oh, su micrófono, señorita.
Muchas gracias. Gracias, Eva. And it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. So we're moving into the how and how can we do this. So if we can move Stephanie into the next slide, thinking about moving us into the classroom space and how do we think about as instructors to help our students develop these global competencies in addition to the discipline that we are teaching, because they come to us and come to our universities to learn more than our disciplines, but to become global citizens, because as Stephanie laid out for us, we are global citizens. We live in a space that's complex, and whether we like it or not, we need to learn to live in a complex and interconnected world. And our classrooms are intercultural. And so bringing this into our classroom spaces, then we do this by design. We do it with intention. And we do it with instructor competencies that are developed over time and in community with others, and with reflection and practice. And historically, at least in a US historical context, teaching in higher education has been a lonely, isolated practice. But we are here to say it really shouldn't be. Research has been very collaborative, but teaching historically has not been. And we need to do this in community, because we learn, just like our students, learn better together and in community. And so, Stephanie, if you could advance to the next slide. We want to provide an example or do an activity, una actividad de ejemplo, to show an intentional design strategies. And a few of those that we will model today will be use activities that engage all students, getting all students involved and leaning in, engaged in the content and with each other. Offer think time. Offering think time is a really inclusive, simple strategy. And being explicit about why. You might say, I'm going to give you think time because I want to hear all voices. Everybody's voice matters. Your perspectives matter. So I'm going to give think time for everyone, our multilingual learners, our internal processors. I want all of you to take a moment to think, so you all are prepared to share your ideas and give clear, concise instructions. So we're going to do an activity that models these three design strategies. Okay, in a moment, I'm going to give you a question, a prompt to think about, and we will invite you to share. But first, we're going to give you a few instructions. So once you get the question, we're going to give you some think time. And we're going to ask you to, write or type. There we go, think. And then you can type your response in the chat, but don't press go, wait. So think, type in the chat, but wait, don't press go. This activity is called a chat storm activity, or lluvia de ideas in chat. So the idea is everybody puts their ideas, but you wait until I say go, and then it's a big storm of ideas. So think, type, wait. Okay. So your question is this: what metaphor comes to mind when you think of an instructor's role? ¿Qué metáfora te viene a la mente cuando piensan en el rol de una instructor.
Oh, espera, espera.
Okay. So that was a minute of think time. And just doing a little meta reflection, just think about what a minute of think time felt like for you. Did it feel good for this particular question? Did it feel too long, too short? But just think about it as a learner might experience think time, and how I explained it to you as learners, why that was important to me to give you think time. Okay, now for the chat storm. You may press go and share your metaphors.
Oh, a lot of people are saying a guide, that the teacher is like a guide. Oh, I see another Stephanie, otra Estefanía, says a coach. Excellent. Yes. What are some other things? A guide dog. Ah, sniffing out things that we can't see ourselves.
Pero también alguien dice, un pato enseñándole a sus patitos a nadar, ¿eh? Que primero con un poco de ayuda y después ya sueltos. Muy bien.
I love. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you all for sharing and participating. A bass guitarist. Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Y
And faros de la tormenta los docentes son faros en la tormenta de aprendizaje. Lighthouses in the storm of learning. How do you like that one? Ooh, might win.
So poetic.
That is very good.
Yes.
A tree, un árbol.
Wonderful.
Oh, the tree of knowledge.
Yeah.
Prancing out. I love this. So we are all the same. We are all educators, but we have different perspectives on, or different ways, different language, the way to describe the experience. But is that enough, Anne, to simply ask the question?
Yeah. Well, and I think we're probably all feeling it. No, the answer is no, this is not enough. I think we're probably all feeling that we're ready to dig into these responses because we want to hear more. And as instructors, we need to ask that question. Why? What? Say more about your metaphors. Why? And even for, we've seen several repeated metaphors like guides, but we might have different reasons for why and different perspectives for why we've shared the same metaphor. We're coming from different places, but we have the same metaphor, but we might have different reasons for those. And here in this space, we don't have time to dig into all of these, but I wanted to just, one, share this idea of just having these questions, simple questions, but lead to such rich opportunities for conversations among teachers,
Mhm.
And then I want to just lead us into us moving into a small group, just a modeling of a small group conversation where Stephanie and Ava will share our metaphors and our whys, because when we invite students into sharing the why and the perspectives and not just opinions, what that can lead to in terms of growing, not only delving into the content more deeply of our discipline, and not only practicing the language of the discipline with our peers, our students and peers, but also practicing global competencies, sharing or developing a perspective conscience, and practicing active listening. Some of those skills that we just saw from that Stephanie just shared in her previous slides, that we know industry needs and we know the world needs for all of us to develop. But also it allows students to get to know each other and build community, because we know that when students build community and get to know each other in our learning spaces, they learn better our content. So these small group interactions do so many things. So I'm going to ask Ava, what metaphor that comes to mind for you when you think of a teacher?
¿Puedo contestar? Can I answer in Spanish, Anne?
Of course.
Vale, gracias. Pues muchas metáforas, porque me gusta pensar en imágenes, pero creo que la primera que me vino a la cabeza fue un chef, un cocinero. Porque los cocineros también tienen que intentar muchas cosas antes que salga una buena comida. Necesitamos cooperar con otros, ¿no? Necesitamos alguien que produce los ingredientes, pero también personas que dan sabor. Vengo de un país que hizo mucho comercio con otros países por los condimentos y tal que producían. Entonces, yo creo que la diversidad también en el aula, pero también en mi profesión, da el sabor a estos platos que los cocineros preparan, ¿no? Y diferentes sabores, que a veces más picantes y otras veces más dulces. Y entonces los cocineros, yo creo que tienen que probar muchas cosas, intentar cosas que a veces fallan, pero después sale una cosa mejor y otros pueden disfrutar.
Yeah, but can I ask you a question,
Yeah,
Eva?
yeah.
Because you live in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, and you said spicy food. I don't think about spicy food in the Netherlands. Do you? Do you eat spicy food? Do
Sí,
Dutch
sí.
people eat spicy food? Yeah.
Sí, sí. O sea, la comida holandesa no es muy picante para nada, que son
No.
patatas, verduras y carne o pescado. Pero tenemos mucha influencia de los migrantes, del Caribe, de Indonesia. Entonces, la comida holandesa casi no existe. Y la comida picante viene de las antiguas colonias holandesas. Pues sí, tenemos mucha
Okay.
comida picante.
So the Netherlands has a colonial history.
Sí,
Oh, okay.
colonial, pero también de migración, de Marruecos, de Italia, de Turquía, de muchos
Okay.
países diferentes. Durante un tiempo muchos argentinos también vinieron a Holanda, yugoslavos durante la guerra, o sea que ahora Ucrania, y cada grupo, cada cultura lleva también sus sabores.
Yeah. That's making me think, Anne, about being in Minneapolis. Like everybody thinks everyone here is very like white, looks like me, looks like you. But we have this huge East African
Yeah.
immigrant population.
Yeah.
And speaking of spicy food, Ethiopian, Somalian food, and
Yeah.
eating with your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second or third largest Hmong population in the country.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's so much
So much.
diversity.
So much diversity. Yeah. And delicious food.
So
Stephanie,
Which
what
brings
would
us
be your
what
together.
would be yours, Stephanie? What would be your metaphor?
Okay, my metaphor is to be a conductor. So this is my conductor's baton. I will say that because I sing in choirs,
I did not know.
and yes, I have not been singing in one lately because I've been working too hard and doing and I am new to the city. But I think about each voice in the classroom needing to be heard in order to have a global learning experience in the classroom. If there are, it only takes one different idea
Yeah.
to make the whole group think differently, right?
Yeah.
But often that person who has the one different idea, they're afraid to say it because everyone is saying the same thing, right? And they think, well, if I say this different idea, then I'm wrong, which is one of the reasons why we did the Lluvia de Ideas, because it's simultaneous report. Everybody speaks at the same time. I will say that I also said that because one time when I was first singing in high school in a play, the director of the singing part, it was a musical, she said, "Oh, you can't sing," because I wasn't singing on key, right? And I got it in my head that I was a bad singer.
Mm.
And then later I went to university in theater and I got lessons on how to sing and how to sing on key. And people were telling me, "Oh, you're a really good, strong singer." And that's when I realized that everybody can sing. Some people don't know how to listen.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to listen for the beauty and the passion and the meaning in everyone's song, even if it sounds a little different or unfamiliar to
Yeah.
us.
But how then, Stephanie? So I also convinced myself that I'm a bad singer. So what I usually do is play back. What do you do when in your class, in your orchestra, you notice
Yeah.
that students are doing playback and not really using their voice? How do you invite
Yeah.
them to sing?
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
this is hard because we have to have a conversation and ask again, why? Tell me more. Tell me more. Peeling back the layers of to getting to a more vulnerable place. Yes. And so this is why this question of time, this question of process, this question of how, this question of why, these are so important to keep peeling back the layers.
Yeah.
And we can all notice that just a moment ago, we started with a very simple question. What is the metaphor that you would use? But we kept over time asking how, why, give me more context. How did you come to see yourself this way? And we got an opportunity to learn more about where Ava is from, where she is living now, the history of her country, my vulnerability, my process to grow and change. It's an amazing process, but we aren't born as teachers knowing how to guide this process, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the good time to now ask what now? Now what? If we're excited to learn more, how could we do that? I will share my screen here, which I didn't prepare so well. Okay, now I can say now what? ¿Y ahora qué?
Yeah,
And
so I can jump in with this ahora que University of Minnesota has, and this speaks to my metaphor too of I think teachers as architects, because they create, they design space for they design space that has to be ready, that has to hold so many things and do so many things, and for learning and for connections and for growing and for development and for many different kinds of activities. And so the now what is it's for that, like, again, it's about design, it's about intention. And there's so many evidence-based practices, strategies, activities, frameworks that we can call upon and use together and separately, and that can help us build the kind of space that we want to create with intention, with purpose. And so the University of Minnesota we wanted to share two different options. One is in English, and it's called the Teaching in Globally Diverse Classes it's a micro-credential program. And it's about 16 hours of synchronous time in synchronous workshops and group discussions with colleagues from around the world. And there's a reflection guide, a Canvas course with readings, reflections. It's self-paced. It can be done. Participants have a year to complete it, but it can be done within 2 weeks. And so we have an open registration period now where the priority deadline is May 1st, and the next round of instruction workshops begins on May 19th. And then we're considering a new offering, which is the same program. It'll be a little bit fewer hours of, I believe we're looking at about, I can't remember now. It'll be about the same program, slightly.
20.
What, Stephanie?
The whole program will be about 20 hours, 20 horas.
20 hours. And this is something that we would like to offer if there's enough interest. So it's very similar to the program I just described. It's really heavy. They're heavy with synchronous workshops where we come together and we introduce an activity or a strategy. We engage with it. So you participants, you would get to experience it as participants. And then we back up and we talk about it as future facilitators, what questions you might have, and in your particular and unique teaching and learning environments. And so that's, I don't know, Stephanie, if you have, or Ava, you have more you'd want to say about these programs, but there's a link that can take you to a survey that you could share your interest with a Spanish version of that, or you can register for the English version. You can also, of course, go to the website where you can learn more about either of those, or actually the English version. And you can also learn more about our office as well at the University of Minnesota.
Yes, the reason why we are here today is because for the first time in November, we opened this program, which only was for the University of Minnesota faculty. For a long time, this is Anne's baby. We opened it to others to participate as a social enterprise to bring more diversity to our own university so our own teachers can see that teaching and learning is done in many different ways across the world, but also to offer this opportunity to others that may not have it in their own institution. And Veronica was one of the first to participate. And our great hope is that when teachers or staff, administrators, or even students participate in this program, they will then be able to teach it to others so that it will spread across all of our institutions. So we are very curious about your interest. And when you go to this link tree, which is also in the chat, you can tell us if you are interested. And you can also take advantage of other communications that we provide, opportunities that have nothing to do with us, grants and research around curriculum internationalization, around COIL and virtual exchange. We want to be connected with you, to learn with you. Veronica, I think you want to say a few words yourself, and we want to say thank you for being our great champion, for inviting all of us here today to contemplate these ideas. Thank you so much. Gracias. Mil gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, Eva, and Anne. It's been a nice hour sharing it with you. And from Ecuador, from la Red Ecuatoriana para la Internacionalización de la Educación Superior, les agradecemos y sobre todo este trabajo en el cual estamos todos involucrados es un trabajo en redes. Estamos acá, hemos sido convocados, a algunos les habrá llegado desde la OUI, porque sus universidades son miembros, a otros les habrá llegado desde la Universidad de Minnesota directamente, a otros desde INILAT y a otros desde las distintas redes que integran INILAT, que es una iniciativa, pero es una red de redes. Entonces, el pensar que cualquier actividad, cualquier sueño que tengamos en conjunto, quienes trabajamos por la educación superior, si lo ponemos a la amplitud de todos, es lo que nos va a poder traer realmente un cambio y una transformación en ese futuro por el que tenemos que trabajar pensando en aquellos que vamos dejando, en las nuevas generaciones que con compromiso y responsabilidad y mucho amor hemos traído al mundo. Siempre pienso que la educación, decían que es un maestro. ¿Qué es un maestro? Es un maestro, mi metáfora, es que es alguien que está poniendo su granito de arena para formar, no para la sostenibilidad del planeta, del ambiente, no, para formar una humanidad sostenible. Entonces, me encantó el microcredencial. I love girls. When I shared with you that month that we were working together with the microcredential, because it made me feel a human being. It really, we work about values, and I think that a value transformation will really make the difference in the world. Thank you very much, Eva. Thank you, Anne, and thank you, Stephanie. Gracias a todos los miembros de América y de más allá de América que nos han acompañado el día de hoy. Y espero que estas horas nos dejen reflexionando, pensando y para desarrollar nuevas iniciativas. Así que muchísimas gracias y terminamos la reunión de hoy.
Muchísimas gracias, Verónica.
Y los aplaudo.
Our great champion, our gran héroe.
Gracias.
Ecuador.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.